Sean Doolittle is a guy who has made an impact in every community that he's played in, dating back to his collegiate days through his time in Oakland and certainly in D.C. And he and his wife, Erin, have been named as 2 of the 11 Washingtonians of the year, right?
Cool, man.
Pro sports are so kind of, you're not there for long, right?
Right.
So for Sean to be there and really lay down roots in Washington, pretty cool. He's got some interesting takes on what D.C. should be, so let's visit with him about it right now and congratulate him on the honor, Washingtonians of the Year. Sean, good morning, man. Nice to see you. That's a pretty cool thing. And it sounded like you and your wife were very humbled by the honor.
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all, and good morning. It was a very nice surprise. We had no idea that this was even something that you could be nominated for, and we love DC so much. It feels really cool to be a part of this class of Washingtonians of the Year.
You know, the amazing thing about Washington, D.C., Sean, it seems like people are constantly in and out. There's not roots. It's not like a real city in a sense. It's so transient all the time. And a lot of transactions, whatever else, because of the government being there. But obviously, you're seeing that differently. And tell us a little bit more and educate us about being in Washington as a community.
Yeah, I think the more time we spent in D.C. after getting traded over here in 2017, the more we realized what a special and unique place Washington, D.C. is. Once you get away from the National Mall and the Federal Triangle and the parts of the city where the government is, there is an incredibly vibrant city here with a ton of civic pride. And it felt very infectious. We felt an attachment to it almost right away. And, it's, one of the big things that we're pushing for now is DC statehood. I mean, you mentioned the transients, but we still have more residents than 2 states. We generate more federal income tax than I think 17 states. We pack a big punch for not being a very big space.
That's a fascinating discussion, one that, quite frankly, I, as a non-Washingtonian, have never contemplated. What would be the big argument? What are the advantages of statehood for that area as opposed to just being a district, which it is?
Yeah, I think it would mean like self-governance, right? Like right now, so many things that happen in and around the city are overseen by Congress. And, statehood would allow DC to have actual representation in Congress. We have shadow senators, but they don't have any voting power. So anytime there's an issue or a bill that might affect DC in some way, whether it's setting certain budgets for the district, for example, they don't even have a vote in that. It's all overseen by the sitting members of Congress. And so to have that self-actualization and to actually have some representation in Congress that can vote and represent the people that live here, that would be, I think it's only fair, but that would be huge for us.
Well, I know this, that you are an advocate of alternate modes of transportation, and traffic snarl in and around D.C. is a big thing. Maybe you could advocate for, permanent old school bullpen carts to get around town.
Hey, look at Murph. Oh, man. Yeah, that would be awesome. Scooters are the hot thing right now, but the bullpen carts, they could fit in a bike lane. I think we should do something with that.
Love those.
Hey, might we see a guy come in on a scooter like you see in the city? Somebody just hop. How about that?
Why
you
not?
Can pull that off.
Why not?
You got to do that.
Well, here's the thing. In DC, the scooters only go 10 miles an hour. In most places, they go 15. But given our narrow sidewalks and just the amount of traffic, like you said, I think they slowed them down to 10 miles an hour. So I don't know if that's quick enough. I would need to get like a booster on that thing so I could get to the mound.
That
a little
would be
quicker.
so cool.
You know,
to
a
see.
scooter going 12 miles an hour to get you from the bullpen to the mound is still quicker than when Jose Mesa used to walk out there on his own. So I think you're net
You're
adding
right there. You're right there. Hey, Sean, I can't help but notice the beard. And I'm thinking about all the things you're doing in D.C. from a civic standpoint, just being there, living there. You never get a chance to disappear. I mean, there's no way people don't recognize you with that beard. Am I wrong or am I right?
Yeah, it's I guess it's very distinctive, and it's hard to blend in, I suppose. But it's all good, man.
When was the last time you shaved that thing? When was the last time? Like off,
like
skin,
shaved?
clean.
Yeah, it would have been probably 2012. My rookie year in 2012, when I was with Oakland, I was clean shaven, and then in spring training of 2013, we were doing like bullpen beards, and that was really the first time I'd ever tried to grow a beard. I liked the way it was coming in. I liked the ginger color, and I've stuck with it ever since. I'm letting it go right now while I'm rehabbing my elbow. I wanted to let it go until I get back into a game.
How's the rehab coming? How is the rehab coming?
It's going great. It's going great. We had the internal brace surgery done at the end of July, and I started playing catch in mid-October. I started throwing bullpens last week. I'm feeling really strong. It might not be the worst thing in the world at 35 to have a year where you can let your body reset. You can recover the rest of your body a little bit, and obviously getting that arm strong. So I'm really excited for camp, man. I've been really lucky. I was lucky that I was able to re-sign with the Nats, and I've been doing my physical therapy and my rehab with the Nats physical therapist here in Northern Virginia, and he's taken great care of me. We've done some awesome work, and I'm really looking forward to spring training.
It's amazing how fast it goes, huh? I mean, you're a guy who, whatever it was, 10 years ago, you're fresh out of Charlottesville. You couldn't even get into your first camp with the A's because they thought you were selling encyclopedias outside the door, or however that story goes. And now you're a mentor to the young guys like Cade Cavalli on this Nationals staff. I mean, man, in the blink of an eye, does a career ever allow you time to take stock? Or are you in it, so deep every day that you don't do that until after you're done?
I think, in my experience, when you have an injury like this, and unfortunately, I've had a couple where you're out for an extended period of time. It definitely changes your perspective a little bit, and you have time to take a deep breath and look around. And for me, like, one thing I learned during this rehab, I got hurt at the beginning of the season last year. So I had all season and this off season really to, work on this. And it's a reminder to me, it's reminded me how much I love doing this, how much energy and passion I still have for it, the lengths at which I'm willing to go to do it. And, I think normally when you're healthy, it's kind of keep your head down and keep moving forward. You keep doing the things on a daily basis to keep your body in a good spot, to keep your head in a good spot. And the season is so long and can be such a grind that sometimes it's hard to maintain that perspective. How fortunate we are and the impact that we can have on other players around the clubhouse. And when I was a young guy, I was very lucky to have an awesome group of veterans guide me and help me. And, at some point here in the last few years, I became one of those guys. And I'll tell you, I love it so much. I'm really trying to embrace it and help the young guys as much as I can.
I'll tell you what, Sean, last thing here. I'm excited you're going to get a chance to pitch again this year, but I'm disappointed that the injury happened because I could have seen you right there champion the WBC team. You'd have wanted to be part of that. Am I right? Would you have wanted to pitch with the WBC?
I would, yeah. I mean, it seems like such a cool such a cool event. I think to be a part of it would be really, really cool. So, you know, what are they, every 3 years? 36. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll be watching. I'll be watching for sure. You know, I think it's a really cool event, and I'm excited to watch it.
What's your target date to return, do you think? And then we'll let you go with that.
I don't think there's necessarily like a hard date. I mean, I'm shooting to be full go for spring training.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of been something that we've been shooting for. We knew that at some point over the summer last year, I was going to have to make a call by the end of July if I was going to have a chance to be ready for camp. You know, we tried to rehab this thing and get injection and avoid the surgery. But, you know, we knew that based on the timeline for the recovery of the surgery, that if I was going to have a chance to be ready for camp, we needed to get something done, make a decision by July. And so that's why we ended up getting the surgery at the time that we did. And, you know, like I said, I started throwing bullpens last week, and shoot, we're 6 weeks out from spring training. So I really think I'll be, you know, ready to rock and roll for camp.
One of the rare exceptions of a pro athlete who is a terrific follow on Twitter. What would do is the handle. He tweets about the virtues of why CVS receipts are so doggone long, among other things, which I've enjoyed over the years. Sean, hey, consider us allies in advocating for Washington, D.C. statehood. Way to go. That's going to be on my mind when you make your spring training debut. Thanks for joining us, dude. Good to see you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.